It is hard to believe we're like halfway through the high school football season. Yeah, welcome back. This is week 5 of the Friday Night Blitz, and our game of the week is taking us to Westwood High as the Red Hawks host their crosstown rivals, Blackwood. Going into the night, the Bengals had won 2 straight in this series, and on their opening drive, they're marching downfield. John Collins finds Carter Coleman. He goes deep into Red Hawk territory, but Blackwood would turn it over on downs. More from Collins now as he tucks it and runs for the first down, but again, they couldn't do anything more. Westwood trying to get something going. Carrington Carter on the keeper. He gets some pretty good yardage there, but the drive, you guessed it, it would stall. This was indeed a defensive struggle, and in the end, it would be Westwood taking back the axe as they win it by a final score of 7-0. Next up, Richland Northeast at Camden tonight. Let's fast forward now to the second quarter at Zimt Stadium. Camden trailing 13-7. Cavaliers, Will Wilson rolls out. He finds nobody open, so he takes it himself, plows his way into the end zone for the score. And they love that in the stands on the visitor side. Later, Wilson finds Blake Betry, who outruns the defense on the way to the end zone for yet another score. The Bulldogs respond, though, as Wyatt Thompson rolls out, waits for someone to get open, and he finds Levante Williams for the score. And your final tonight, Richland Northeast rolls in Camden, 26-15, the final score. Next up to Dutch Fork as they hosted Oceanside. Silver Foxes get their offense going early, including this pass from quarterback Ethan Offing to wide receiver KJ Smith. Just 2 plays later, linebacker Jordan Rosenborough would pick up several blocks, and that allowed him to walk into the end zone untouched. Kicker Justin Welch capping off the early scoring with the extra point there. Dutch Fork also made it happen on defense, including this takedown of Oceanside's quarterback, led by Dutch Fork's Josh Smith, and finished off by Jarvis Jackson. The Silver Foxes scored with on the ground too, including this touchdown by Maurice Anderson. Dutch Fork continues to look dominant tonight as they beat Oceanside, and they're cheering all about it there. The final tonight, 54-0. Now to Lexington County, Irmo welcoming in the visitors from Myrtle Beach. Late in the second quarter, Irmo quarterback A.J. Brand calling his own number there. He ran this one in for the score. Yellow Jacket defense went to work, led by Matthew Blocker. He had a big hit here against Myrtle Beach Michael Cohen. And despite Irmo's defensive stand, Myrtle Beach was able to score with this pass to J.J. Brown. Yellow Jackets were firing on all cylinders, including several good kick returns from Malik Miller. You see one right there. Let's see how far he can go with that. Irmo Yellow Jackets proved to be too much to handle tonight as Irmo sends Myrtle Beach back to the coast with a 38-12 victory. Chapin making their way down to Somerville in the Low Country. The 2 schools, believe it or not, when I read this tonight, it was hard for me to believe, but the 2 schools meeting for the first time ever tonight. Chapin was undefeated going into this one down in Somerville, but there was plenty of scoring on both sides. When all was said and done, however, it wasn't enough for Chapin. They scored 32 points, but Somerville beats the Eagles. The final tonight, 53-32. Now let's move to the Skeezer ranks. Heathwood Hall hosting Cardinal Newman. Cardinals up 7-0 in the second. Quarterback Jason Horton extends the Cardinal lead on the quarterback keeper there. As time is expiring in the first half, Heathwood's Patrick Belt, he tries to find Chip Ravenel downfield, but just a bit outside, too long there. Heathwood would come back, and they would win this one, the squeaker, 21-17. The Hammond Skyhawks welcoming in Hilton Head Christian for their Week 5 matchup. It was all Skyhawks early on as quarterback Andrew Turner gets a push from his teammates for the early score there. Running back Emmanuel Johnson, he would find a hole and breaks a few tackles to make it 14-0. This is still early in the first quarter. Coming up now, the Eagles with some miscommunication as Hammond linebacker Jackson Ross, he shoots through the line and returns the bad snap all the way to the end zone for 6 points. A little bit of a celebration there, and why not? After scoring 35 first quarter points, that is, Hammond would go on to win by a final of 55-21, and they will move to 5-0 on the season. It was homecoming for the Lower Richland Diamond Hornets as they hosted Darlington from the PD. Down 8 in the third quarter, Lower Richland's Christian Wilson picks off a pass right outside the end zone to hold the Falcons at bay. Later in the fourth quarter, the Falcons get some insurance as running back Jamascus Brown weaves his way in for the score. That makes it 26-12, and any chance of a comeback vanished as Darlington gets the game-sealing interception. The Diamond Hornets fall 26-12. They move to 2-3 on the season. Battle of Highway 34 in Winsboro tonight with Newberry making the drive to Fairfield Central. Griffin's down 7, but they get right back in it as Tidarian Greer gets the call. He gets to the edge and takes it down the sidelines. He is gone. He's in the end zone. That ties the game at 7-7. Newberry would come right back though. Kenton Caldwell dumps it to Caleb Levy, and he's got a lot of open turf in front of him. He's going to make a nice cut at the 10 and to stop just shy of the goal line. However, they would score on the very next play. More for the Bulldogs. B.J. Jones gets the call. He gets into the end zone. It's 21-7 Newberry. And again, here's Jones plowing in to make it 28-7. Jones with a busy night. The final 49-42 Fairfield Central. Brooklyn Casey taking on South Aiken tonight. The first time these schools are meeting since 2019. Going to jump ahead to the third quarter now. Bearcats up 20-14. BC's Tyrone Jackson finds the hole. He bursts up the field for a pretty big gain there. Thought he was going to take it all away. That sets up J.B. Thompson to find the end zone. 27-14 BC at this point. Coming up on the very next Bearcat possession, BC quarterback Trevin Dobson finds a receiver who makes his way to the end zone. Brooklyn Casey gets by 7 points tonight, 34-27. And as we go to break, here's a look at some other scores from around the Midlands.